Hello, everyone. Welcome to B-iTalk, a podcast where we discuss biomedicine and bioinformatics in a nutshell. So, my name is Albert from Biomedicine 2019. So, just a brief. Me here and my other four colleagues are in doing our third semesters in I3L. So I'm not here alone. So to begin, let me introduce all of our speakers. They are responsible as the spokespersons of the respective major. So please welcome the first speaker of biomedicine, Bernard.
Hi everyone. I'm Bernard from Biomedicine with specialization in infectious diseases. So it's an honor for me to talk about biomedicine with you guys.
Okay, thank you, Bernard. So next we have Jeremy from bioinformatics. Please, Daddy.
Hi guys, I'm Jeremy from Bioinformatics.
Oh, such a lovely person. So okay, that's our chill guy from bioinfo. So next up we have Karin. So our boss. She specializes in TB. Hello, Karin. Please.
Hi everyone, I'm Karin from Biomedicine, specializing in tumor biology.
Okay, now we have last but not least, we have Enrica, the most exciting girl in the group, of course. Enrica, please introduce
Hello
yourself.
guys, this is Enrika from Biomedicine 2019 and hope you can enjoy our podcast.
Yay! Thank you, everyone. So we have our the introduction done. So let's just get into the thing. Okay, so for the introduction, now I'll share what we're going to cover in this podcast for the next few months. So this podcast will unfold everything that you need to know about biomedicines and bioinformatics. Through this podcast, I would like to broaden the audience awareness on the role of biomedicine and the bioinformatics in society that will improve and enhance our quality of life. So this initial session will be just an introduction that covers the basics of the biomedicines and the bioinformatics, what it all about. We'll briefly share a bit on the application in society. In the lecture session, we'll discuss biomedicine, particularly in cancer immunotherapy, infectious disease therapy, bioinformatics itself, the sequencing technology, which is known in bioinformatics. There will also association in the collaboration of bioinformatics and biomedicine in drug discovery. So let's start with biomedicine first. Okay, so biomedicine guys, I have a question for you guys. So what is actually biomedicine?
Okay, that's a good question. So, okay, I will try to answer this question. First of all, you might be thinking that biomedicine is the same as medicine, right? But turns out it is not, because biomedicine is a field of medical study that focuses on molecular level, which include numerous assessments on the development of certain diseases and target the mechanism to could eventually cure them. That I think that's all for my answer. Maybe other speakers would you like to add something?
No, I think it's concise.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, uh,
Okay, so I think everyone in the biomedicine has a agreement with this one, yeah. But I think a lot of people have a misconception with medicine and biomedicine. So what's the difference with medicine itself? So like doctors and working in the hospitals with wearing adult white lab coats. It just sound for me it's just the same, right? So the end goal is to cure human disease. So what's the difference with medicine?
So, while the School of Medicine deals with disease study and the manifestation of this field is to diagnose patients in person by doing checkups and prescribing them with suitable drugs, while biomedicine is the one who conducted the laboratory assessment and analyzed the result for people in medicine to interpret them.
Yes, and we are also are the one who heavily involved in research in hope to provide detailed information of the diseases, such as their mechanism, target organ, as well as the signs and symptoms to the medical professionals, in which they can use this info to treat the patients. And yes,
Albert, do you have any further question?
Okay. Thank you guys for the explanations. Yeah. So yeah, I think I have a clear image right now. So yeah, the difference between medicines and biomedicines. But I have another question. So um, can you give us example the
Um,
with the biomedicines? Yeah, between the med.
okay. Okay, I'll try to give the example. So, we can take an example from this ongoing pandemic. So, biomedicine professionals are the ones that discover the pathophysiology or how the virus causes the disease. So, however, we also identify the appropriate diagnostic approach to identify the presence of the virus in patients using qRT-PCRs as well as developing the vaccine. So, for just information, qRT-PCR is the quantitative reverse transcription polymerase chain reaction. However, bio medical professionals only use that information to cure the patient and to read the result also. I think that's my example.
Okay, I see. So yeah, in this pandemic, probably most of us heard a lot of this PCR thing. So yeah, thank you, Bernard, for the explanation. I hope it explains to those who doesn't know about the PCR background. So okay, that's biomedicine. All right, that's enough biomedicines. As I talked about earlier, we also have bioinformatics. So let's discover what bioinformatics, all right? So what about bioinformatics? What is bioinformatics, basically?
Well, bioinformatics is a little bit different than biomedicine. It is a relatively new field of biology that uses computational power to perform analysis, data processing, interpretation, and visualization of biological data. It uses a combination of several fields, including that of computer science, mathematics, physics, and biology. It is actually a sub-branch of data science that specifically focuses on parsing and analyzing biological data, while data science can only analyze data from any broader field of sources such as sales, finance, and many other fields.
I see. Okay, thank you. So, yeah, again, thank you, Jeremy. As you can all hear, he's the most cool guy in the group. So, now I have heard another similar field in the computers in biology. It's called computational biology, if I'm not mistaken. So, can you explain what's the difference between them, basically? So, at the first glance, it's kind of similar, the sound of it. So, can you please just explain it a bit.
They are actually very similar. The computational biology develops these theoretical models, simulation, and mathematical models that addresses the theoretical and experimental questions, while for bioinformatics, they parse the vast and complex biological data into more understandable and useful interpretations. So it's all depending on how um, they use computations to address biological needs.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So it's very similar, right? From what I heard from you. So, but how they apply computation and biological needs are different. I think as that can be confusing with limited. So let's keep it for the BI session later on our our next meeting and for our next episode. So now we'll just talk about bioinformatics and biomedicine. But I was curious, is there any application that requires both bioinformatics and biomedicine where um, both a path will along the way will cross later on?
The collaboration of both biomedicine and bioinformatics can work harmoniously together in order to provide efficient and effective ways in discovering and developing novel drugs for various diseases.
Ah, okay, I see. But how does it work, basically? Just a brief, basically. How does it work from the bioinformatics perspective and from the biomedicine perspective, basically?
So from a bioinformatics perspective, we can conduct experiments via computers, or rather in silico experiments, in which we can perform the docking process of potential novel drugs with the potential receptors, and from this we can determine the efficacy of drugs by looking at its binding affinity against each other.
Yeah, that's true. This in silico process can speed up the discovery of novel potential drugs. And from a biomedicine perspective, we will further proceed the experiment by utilizing the in vitro or in vivo model to further determine the efficacy of the drugs. So we can directly observe the adverse effect of drugs, immunological response, and effectiveness in the real life settings.
Ah, okay, I see. So basically, the bioinformatics will just provide the blueprints for the, let's say, the proposed novel drugs, and then later on, the biomedicine will try to use those blueprints to make an actual models, right? From the blueprints itself. Okay, I see. Well, it was a good talk, guys. However, we have come to an end of our terms for today's episode, so let's put it on recap. There's a lot of people still confused on what is the difference between biomedicines and the School of Medicines. While medicine mostly handles the diagnosis process, our front person in the medical world handles patients. Biomedicine scientists, however, mostly doing the connecting the research behind, so some sort of the working behind the scene kind of guy. With BI, they relatively use computer to do the analysis process, right? So in a way, it is also like the data science, but focus more on the biological fields. Now, in terms of applications, BM and BI actually could work together. Yeah, so as you guys said, where the BI would use the in silico study to provide a preliminary or potential drug, then form those in silico results. After that, the BM guys will use this in silico results some sort of as a blueprint, where you guys would proceed with the real life wet lab experiment, as we might call it, to actually make the drug. Alright, so yeah, for today's episode, I think there will be all. It will be some kind of short, but for the next episodes, the next meeting, I think it'll be much more fun. Yeah, it's much going to be much more longer than this one. So yeah, I kind of expect it, guys. So and well, for our next podcast, we'll be talking about biomedicines and cancer therapy. So for those who kind of still riddles about these two, what are those? Okay, so yeah, stay tuned for the next segment of our podcast. So, bye. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.